think first and foremost, we talked before about the entrepreneurial characteristic that has got us to where we need to be, particularly in Alberta. We've also talked about the need to embrace technology and also process efficiency. I think I could characterize that it was hero-based, people-based solutions that we originally existed upon. Somebody had a particular specialism, hard work, and pushed the solution to where it needed to be. Now that we're changing that phase from a growth model into a sustaining model, we have to look to getting efficiencies out of thinking about the process, thinking about standardization, thinking about subject matter expertise to be able to support the front line to be able to do the work they need, but not expecting them to be problem solving and through a hero model all of the time.
Well, by leveraging data, by using more risk-based processes and approaches to always prioritize, focus on the high-risk areas, and they will, at the same time, improve their bottom line and also improve their safety and environmental record. I think risk as a driver of operational performance is really the key to answering your question.
So for us at TransCanada, something that was really important is we looked at integrating our management systems. We had a few different management systems that addressed different parts of the life cycle. We looked at doing the integration partly because we wanted to make sure that we were maintaining our requirements in terms of making sure that we're managing our risks appropriately. But one big driver for us in terms of the integration was looking at getting collapsing the redundant procedures into one another and coming up with more of a corporate-wide guidance and then giving some flexibility to how to execute some of those requirements within our lines of business. For us, the key thing there was removing some of the redundant procedures that may have existed because of different management systems being in place.
Over the last few years, we've seen the impact of increased cost pressures, and every industry goes through waves of high success and then cost cutting on the back end, and it's typically seen as a very it is a very stressful time, but we tend to focus only on the negative side of that. And one of the things that I'm very excited about is there's a few companies, Canadian companies in particular, that are really stepping out and taking advantage of the situation, because when the market changes just slightly, then the approach is to reduce costs by a little bit, proportional to revenue, for instance. And so we see a couple of people moved around, a couple of initiatives cut, projects cut, and really it's just stretching the remaining resources to fill the gaps. But when you have a really significant drop in resources, then you have to really ask yourself, if we have to make do with half of the resources, we have to rethink our approach. It forces more creativity. It kind of forces you to throw out the old playbook and say, well, how can we operate in this new world? And that's what you need a lot of times to really cut complexity, because complexity creeps in, but in order to remove it, you can't remove it little by little. You have to cut big chunks of it out. And so this is a great opportunity for those companies that are embracing it to rethink their approach, create a less complex foundation that when the market really starts to pick back up, they're going to be the ones that really take off and are able to capitalize and scale profitably. So those companies that are looking at it that way are really going to succeed.